Hi, I'm Alice from Letters to My Daughter, and this is the first vlog in the Amazing Everyday Women series. Firstly, apologies for my voice. It's been like this for the last 5 days and I just couldn't wait any longer to film this, so I'm afraid you'll have to put up with my husky tones. So, if you don't know about the Amazing Everyday Women series, basically I know a lot of amazing women. And they're the sort of women that I thought would be amazing role models for my daughter. They're strong, intelligent, capable, confident, just really brilliant people. They're engineers, they're business owners, sports champions, community heroes. They honestly totally rock, but they do so without fame and without fortune. They're just getting on, doing their thing, and they don't even realise how awesome they are most of the time because they're just getting on with it. They're the sort of people you meet in everyday life, at the pub, in the supermarket, in the children's centre, in the park. And I really think these women are unsung heroes, and they just prove that we can do anything that we set our minds to. And so that's how the Amazing Everyday Women series was born. It does what it says on the tin. It's a series of blogs and vlogs about women who are amazing and inspirational in their own right. So today we're going to be talking to Liu Batchelor. So today we're going to be talking to another amazing woman that I know called Liu Batchelor.
Hi, I'm Liu Batchelor, and first off, thank you very much to Alice Monk for inviting me to be on her Letters to My Daughter blog and now vlog as well, because I think I'm the first one to do a video, so hopefully the start of many.
Now, Liu is inspirational in so many ways. I'm going to read them out so that I don't forget them. Liu is a former bodybuilding champion and fitness model. She challenged herself to try 100 sports in 100 days. That's consecutive days, one after the other, every single day for 100 days. She organised the first Folkestone TEDx event, which was empowering people in our hometown, Folkestone, to share engaging and inspiring talks. And now she's working on the second one. She runs her own consulting company called LVB Creative, which helps businesses and startups with creative marketing and business solutions. And if that's not enough, she also hosts a radio show called The Big Ideas Show on Academy FM. And that's all alongside being a super lovely person. So Liu, let's start at the beginning of the list. What got you into bodybuilding, and do you still do it?
So I might actually have to take you a step back. That wasn't quite the beginning. So what got me into bodybuilding was actually a wakeboarding injury. So my sport before that was wakeboarding. I was competing quite a lot, doing lots of competitions, and I was pushing myself very hard and got to the stage where I had a pretty serious injury. I broke my kneecap, tore the quads. It was all not very nice. So started a long journey to recovery. I got 7 weeks into my rehab and was doing really well, and I slipped over and I broke my knee a second time. So that was the start. A lot of hard work went into it, and I was lucky to have a great physio, and it's something I'm really passionate about, is the importance of rehabilitation, and that you can come back from horrendous injuries and still play sport. But the wakeboarding, I decided that I didn't want to do the wakeboarding anymore. I still do it occasionally for fun, but I don't compete anymore. And the wakeboarding was, the bodybuilding was really an opportunity for me to go, right, okay, I've got to do this rehab. It's not particularly exciting, it's pretty boring, and especially once I started to get back to do the everyday stuff like running and, being able to move around. But I knew that if my leg remained in balance, so I had one that was, say, one's like a normal muscle size diameter, be that, and then my bad one was like this, and it was not nice. So the bodybuilding was really a motivation to sort my legs out, because bodybuilding is all about symmetry, form, balance. You can't go up there with one leg that's clearly wasted away where it's been in a cast, and the other leg being really strong to compensate. So it was a real motivation for that, to get me to kind of balance out. I don't think I'm particularly driven kind of from the aesthetic side of doing sport and bodybuilding, but it was more that the aesthetic side shows me whether I'm physically balanced, and therefore going to stay healthy and not get a further injury down the line, because I've got imbalance that I wouldn't otherwise have known about. I don't particularly do it anymore. I don't compete anymore, mainly because I just decided, you know, it takes over your life, and it was great while I did it, but now I'm ready to move on to next challenges, new things. So yeah, I still train, I still use some of the techniques that I learn, but I don't do the competition.
That's amazing, and it must take so much self-discipline. I don't know that I could do that, but that's why I'm not a bodybuilder. So 100 sports in 100 days, that was quite a challenge. Can you tell us whose idea that was, and was it hard finding 100 sports?
So it was my idea that kind of came about because I was going, I had stopped bodybuilding, I was trying a few other sports, but none of them really kind of sunk in and made me go, wow, I love this, I want to do this all the time, like the other sports had. So I kind of got to thinking, what is it I love about sport? And to try and help myself find the one that I did want to do. And I kind of suddenly hit me, wow, the bit I love the most is the early bit, the trying it for the first time, when you don't know what to expect, you don't have any expectations of yourself, but you just get on and do it, and you're like, wow, this is crazy, and you throw yourself in there. And I kind of was thinking, wonder if I could do lots of different sports, because I always have loved it. And then I don't know where the 100 came in, but it just kind of popped into my head, and when I kind of went, 100, that sounds like a crazy big, but also kind of measurable number, and when I looked at the dates I went, oh my god, and it ties in with sport relief, and it just was a bit of luck that within about 10 days it was going to be 100 days until sport relief, which is what I did it for. So that's how I came up with the idea. Was it hard finding the 100 sports? Yeah, it was. I mean, people often go, are there even 100? And I think once you get started, it wasn't so hard, because you go, okay, team sports, right, football, hockey, rugby, lacrosse, and if you kind of work through them like that, and then you go water sports, okay, swimming, diving, water polo, and you kind of group them, extreme sports, suddenly you get quite a lot. But as I got further towards the end, yeah, it did become a bit of a push, and I was scraping the barrel a little bit and having to start taking up those random sports like kabaddi that, you know, most people have never heard of. But there was a lot of Googling going on, and there were lots of lists, and there were tons of sports that I didn't do. I mean, I didn't even do something as quite mainstream as surfing or kite surfing. So it was just time of the year, I did it in the winter, and so I tried to limit my sea water sports exposure to as little as possible for obvious reasons.
And we have to ask, which sport was your favourite?
It was really hard to say. A lot of it came down to if a club was really good, and this is kind of to really big up those clubs that make an effort, then I loved it even more. Like lacrosse was something I didn't think, not lacrosse, fencing was something I didn't imagine to particularly like, but I really enjoyed it. And the club were really supportive, and they were just so happy that I was loving it and having a good time and giving it a try, that I really enjoyed that one. So that was one. Rock climbing was a good one, but I already knew I liked that one. Wake surfing was a new one for me. So very similar to wakeboarding, but more like surfing and less like water skiing. That was one I absolutely loved. I think probably my favourite, or my unexpected favourite that I had no experience in, was ice hockey. So I absolutely loved that. That was so good. I played hockey, done a little bit of ice skiing, but never done them together. So that was a surprise one that I did love. And I'd love to go back to, but the problem is they train at like 11 o'clock on a Friday night, the women's team, and it's like an hour away from me. So fortunately a bit unpractical, but still great all the same if you live nearby. So I definitely recommend if you live near an ice rink.
So alongside all the sporting stuff, we've mentioned you also set up the first Folkestone TEDx event. So what inspired you to do that?
So the inspiration for that came, it was post 100 sports, so I was kind of again in that lull of not really knowing quite what I was going to focus on. And if you haven't noticed already, I tend to kind of get an idea or a new project and kind of really hone in on it. So I didn't have anything, but it came from, I'd recently gone freelance, was looking to kind of set up my own business or my own work, freelance work, and And I was kind of going, I thought I knew what I was going to do and realised, I didn't have as much of a clue as I thought I did. And I was going, who are the sort of people I want to work with, I want to work for, I want to be around. And it was kind of going, at some point I went, it's kind of the sort of people that go to TED Talks, that are up for new ideas, think outside the box, kind of open to new ideas and experiences. And so I went, okay, TEDx type people, where can I go? Googling it, where can I go to a TED event? And realising there wasn't really very much. There's one in Tunbridge Wells, there's one in University of Kent, but they're once a year. This wasn't going to be a regular way of meeting the sort of people that I wanted to hang around with in a work context. So I went, what about if I did my own? And it kind of really, as that idea came up, it really made me go, if I can't find the sort of people or sort of groups that I want to hang out with, then why don't I create them? Like, have a reason for them to come to me rather than me having to go and find them, because in this environment it didn't exist at that stage. So that's how it started off, and it all went amazingly well. We did the 2017 event was the first one. We're doing 2018 event. We're currently planning. That's in 23rd of June. That goes on, and it was amazing. I met amazing people, made amazing contacts. Really felt like I am now part of Folkestone, both because I feel like I've contributed, and the support was so amazing, from people happy to volunteer, from kind of venue to the courthouse, to the workshop, all these people going, we'll get involved, we'll support, we'll contribute. So that was like an amazing thing to kind of find yourself at the heart of something going on and making it happen. So that was a big success.
So can you tell us a little bit about LVB Creative and the Big Ideas show?
So LVB Creative is my business. I basically work with small business owners to help them find their voice and express it through their marketing. So I'll do marketing message strategy and like brand strategy. So this is a lot of the sort of thing of, what's your vision? Why did you start up a business? It's a lot easier to work for someone else. So why would you make that effort to start up your own business? What's your vision? What do you want to contribute to the world? That's the core of your vision. And ultimately, I believe, should be your marketing message and your brand, what your brand's all about. So help people find their vision, and then how do they communicate it, both through their marketing activities or their assets, but also through their speaking, which leads me on to the second bit, where I do a lot of video. So videos just like this, but a lot of the time I'll be interviewing someone so that we can have a real conversation about the sort of things that matter to them and their business. So it may be, why they started it up. It may be, the knowledge they want to share. A lot of this is based around knowledge sharing and building yourself or your business as an industry expert, and that you know what you're talking about, and that you want to give that information, that advice to people, so that then when they go, actually I need some help, I'm a bit unsure, they come to you because they know you and see you to be an expert. You're the brand behind your business and your conversation with the world and with the wider industry. So that's the Big Idea show. I do video and marketing strategy, that's LVB Creative. And the Big Idea show is a podcast and video series that I do as part of LVB Creative, where it's me expressing my vision and my passion. So I love chatting to people and hearing about, why do you do what you do? What is it that interests you, excites you? Why do you start your business? So that's where it all started. And now we look a lot more as well also at the motivation and the kind of mindset around turning any idea into reality. So a lot of the time this will be how do we turn a business, for example, from an idea into reality, but also it could be anything from a TEDx event. How do you take a TEDx event from a crazy idea to reality? That's what I'm all about. That's what I love discovering. And it's not just I do it in my way, and I have my approach, but I love hearing about other people's approaches, how they do it. And also it's a great chance to ask the questions. Okay, how do you deal with procrastination? How do you deal with time management? And we flip between kind of a combination of very practical stuff that kind of business owners or kind of professionals, anyone wanting to do something might come up against in their journey, but also the mindset as well, that a lot of the time what's stopping us is not external forces, it's ourselves, and the more we can get present to that, the more power we have over making our ideas and our dreams come true.
It seems a big part of what you do is geared around inspiring others. What do you think drives you to do that?
I think it comes from personal experience, and this is something I always say to people, is why you probably started your business based on some kind of, very early personal experience, and mine was around this idea of, I was a very quiet child. I wasn't able to express myself verbally, so I did loads of sport, I was very active, I did lots of art, I was very creative, but vocally and verbally I didn't feel like I could express myself clearly based on what was in my head and all the ideas were in my head. So it was in that journey of finding my own voice that I realised, wow, God, if I feel like this, then probably other people feel like this as well. And so I really wanted, when I found my inspiration and you say it and it comes out right and it feels really good, I was like, wow, that feels amazing. I want to share that with other people because I feel their pain. And it's like that quote, I think it's a Robin Williams quote that says that it's around, why comedians want to make people laugh is because they know the pain of kind of sadness and they don't want anyone else to feel like that. And that's kind of the same. I know that sometimes we experience it as pain of not being able to express yourself, a frustration of not being able to get your words out. And so I want to inspire people, because when you're inspired and you see that new idea and that new vision, it can come out, and that's what for me it's all about. I guess the other part of that as well is that kind of the feeling of inspiration, particularly when you come up with a new idea. For example, when I used to paint a lot as a kid, suddenly an idea would come to me and it would light me up completely out of nowhere. It's like this whole energy comes up, and I would chase that feeling quite a lot, and therefore I'd always be busy and always be working, and like, oh my God, I've got to do this painting and this painting and this painting. I've got to express every idea that comes up, and that's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I realised over the last few years, I realised that you can get that same great feeling helping other people get that moment of inspiration and clarity with their ideas. And often when they see for the first time their bigger vision, that they was there, they knew what it was, but they couldn't articulate it, or they couldn't quite, none of the pieces came together. And so, yeah, it's a selfish reason. I love that feeling of inspiration, and I get the most inspiration when I can share and help someone find their inspiration, because together it's suddenly like the penny drops for both of us, and we see something completely new and a new possibility for the future is available. So that's why I do it, because that feeling is just everything I crave. Yeah.
Now, one of my core questions: do you have any particular role models?
I've always found role models a hard one, because I don't think I model. I kind of feel like role models may say, okay, who do you try and be like? And I don't really have anyone like that, but I'd say influences and people that I listen to. At the moment, I've started listening to a lot of Tim Ferriss and James Altucher. Started listening to loads of podcasts, so I definitely recommend those. Really insightful and very similar sort of format to how I do the Big Idea Show, inviting people in, going, well, how do you make your life work? And I want to learn and pick up hints and tips along the way that I might apply to my own life. So Tim Ferriss, James Altucher. Writers-wise, I read a lot of Ryan Holiday, who I would massively recommend. Some of his stuff made me really rethink how I turn projects into reality. The whole growth hacking model was like, and this lean approach made me go, yeah, my working hard and having to like get a project perfect before I share anything, it's not the way. Get it out quick, test it, get it through. So those would probably be my inspirations, I say, or people that I like to go back to when I'm feeling a bit unsure, because I have some really great insight.
And what's the best piece of advice you could give to a child who has their whole life ahead of them?
I guess it picks up probably on that, it's certainly something I'd give myself as a piece of advice, so I guess this applies to others as well, is this idea of trying things and like the growth hacking model. It's that thing. Don't get out there, try, learn, you know, like learning to walk. We take a step, we fall over, we get back up. We take another step, we get a little bit further, then we fall over. This kind of constant improvement. And this is maybe would be probably to an older child, but that idea of, we do that intrinsically and instinctively when we're very young, but as we get older, we start to go, oh, I've got to get it right before I show anyone or talk to anyone about it. So I would say to keep that childlike trial and error approach to things, just because it's a whole lot less effort. And also, if you can overcome that fear of failure, then you set yourself an ultimate and you start to your wonderful projects or ideas, develop things that people actually want, because you learn sooner when they learn you when it's going to work. I think I've done this a lot in my life. It's gone, right, where do you think myself to do? They've just saved you loads of time. So that would probably be my advice. Yeah, trial and error. Don't be afraid to fail, and fail quick, fail often. I don't know who, there's someone that I should be attributing that quote to. I don't remember who it is, but it's a great one nevertheless. So Alice, I hope that's good. Listeners, you out there, you other ladies out there, I hope that has been inspiring. Let me know, feel free to get in touch. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have all the details on the video. But thank you very much, and thank you for listening and giving me this time to share my story. Bye!
Thank you, Liu. That's been amazing. You give us so much to think about, and you really are such an inspiring and amazing everyday woman. So thank you everyone for listening to Liu and I have that conversation. I hope you find Liu as inspiring as I do, and she's given you something to think about and take away. Do keep your eyes peeled for the rest of the posts in the Amazing Everyday Women series. I've got an amazing guest coming up next time who you definitely don't want to miss. So if you like what you've seen, please subscribe, check out the post on my blog, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.